This week's episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by GameFly.
Red Steel 2, designed exclusively for the Nintendo Wii and Wii Motion Plus.
And GoDaddy. This week on the Totally Rad Show, we are talking about the movie How to Train Your Dragon and the trailer for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. In video games, we're talking about Just Cause 2 and the Nintendo 3DS. Also, Alex got to go flying with the Blue Angels.
Three excellent dudes at the Circle K confuse a telephone booth ruse for a time-traveling cruise. Through history they peruse Socrates' blues, medieval babes as their muse, Genghis Khan's war diffused. The kid gives Dan a bruise, so they buy him some booze. Then they learn to use his help with reviews. They'll try to infuse time-traveling news, so please don't snooze through the Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show, episode number 158. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Kanata.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
One of myself again. The Totally Rad Show is a weekly dose of all things rad. We go out into the wilderness, find ourselves some dragons, and train the F out of them.
Yes, we do.
We're talking about How to Train a Dragon, which is a
As
movie
well as
I've
Just
been-
Cause 2.
Just Cause 2.
We get to see you fly.
We get to see me fly, which
Yeah,
is good.
super fun.
Story time, Dan.
Fun
But
story
we
at the
should
end.
definitely mention right here at the
Yes.
top that we already got nominated for a Streamy for
Which is
Best
awesome.
Hosted Show along with Dignation.
Correct, which
we
is awesome.
also just found out we got nominated for the Audience Choice Award.
Very
which
cool.
Is such a great honor.
Which means you guys get to vote. So make sure, and you can vote once a day.
Every day.
Go to vote.streamies.org and vote for us.
yeah,
or
that
vote for
URL is
somebody
right
else.
here listed. It's kind of spelled weird, but it's vote.streamies.org.
Vote.streamies.org every day, and we'll see you at the Streamies. We should cover the Streamies.
Well, I'm not
Probably
available,
won't.
but we should.
You're not available?
No.
Oh, that's right. You're doing,
doing a play.
Oh, you're not even gonna be able to go to the
No,
Streamies.
not even be able to go. But that doesn't mean I don't want us to win.
Yeah, well,
we're up against the Guild. We're up
clearly
against
you
some,
don't want us to win,
We're up against
Jeff.
the
we're up
big
against some big names.
Actor, Kevin Pollock show.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's in the other
In the other
category. And
category.
audience, we're up against the Bud from.
Oh, yeah, Dave
Married with
Faustino
Dave
show.
Faustino.
Oh, yeah.
Dorm Life, which is a big show.
Yeah,
It's been
we
around
have
for a while.
very small chance, but that's why you can
Yes.
empower us. You can,
Yes.
take power over the outcome.
Correct. And speaking of power of the outcome, let's talk about the show.
Is that what we're speaking
Yeah.
of?
This week in movies, we are talking about How to Train Your Dragon. With all the remakes and revamps cinema has seen in the past few years, I don't think we've had enough dragon movies.
I agree.
And the ones that have come that I've been so excited for, like Reign of Fire, major disappointment.
That was my setup for that.
I actually finally
Dragons
just-
versus tanks.
I just saw that on TV, and I understand your.
Oh, I was
For the
so
first
excited for
time?
that movie.
Yeah.
It's miserable. Anyway, How to Train Your Dragon is computer-generated animated film, DreamWorks, so the Shrek people, but not, director of a lot of Disney 2D animated films. Team, they did Lilo and Stitch and Mulan, I
They
believe.
did do Lilo and Stitch.
That's
I was
why
gonna
that
say, yeah,
looks very Lilo-esque.
Lilo,
Yes,
yeah.
the main dragon.
mean,
and it focuses on a Viking village, a meeker Viking played by Jay Baruchel, who wants to be like all the other Vikings who are at war battling badass dragons.
Yeah.
We saw an IMAX 3D.
Correct.
It's being released in all formats.
Correct.
Jeff, is this the greatest dragon movie ever made?
Yeah, it is. And I think it's my favorite movie of 2010 already. And I suspect that I'll be bringing it up at the end of the year on my best of list. This is
Hold your dragons.
This is awesome. Awesome. I knew 5 seconds into this movie, I knew I was gonna love it, and it only got better. It is heartfelt and has a great story for kids. Incredible action sequences. I love the design of the characters. The way the Vikings look is super cool. And there's so much heart. If you've ever had a pet that you loved, this movie will speak to you in a very profound way. It also is wonderful, pure adolescent fantasy, wish fulfillment of soaring through the skies on the backs of a dragon, of being something greater than you are. You know, I'm doing reviews on the run now, so we're reviewing a lot of Blu-rays, and we've been reviewing a lot of 3D animated films lately that we didn't see on this show, like Planet 51, Astro Boy.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to say there's a lot of really mediocre films that are put out in this medium. This is not that. I think if you play World of Warcraft, if you have ever had a pet, you need to go see this movie. It will blow your mind. I loved it.
Pixar level, or?
I think, you know what I thought when I was watching this?
Yeah.
I think this is as good as The Incredibles.
Which I also just
Which I think is my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
This is just a great movie. I was sort of, when I first saw like the posters, How to Train Your Dragon, I was like, oh God, another one-off attempt from DreamWorks. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, this could be really good. And I mean, was just completely blown away. You're totally right. It's a total wish fulfillment story, but it has such a great heart and the characters are so well developed. And I actually like the fact that the dragons are well developed. It's almost like they have, like, I want to see that story of all the different dragons and how they interact, because that was so fleshed out.
They have character, yeah.
Yeah, within the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're getting all these different types of dragons, all the different character animations and stuff. I mean, it was really, really amazing movie. And you're right, it had an amazing heart, and I kept thinking to myself, man, that dragon looks so much like Stitch. It was like really like Stitch. Yeah. But it just was it was like a perfect movie. It was one of those things that just makes you go, boy, I like movies.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I love.
And the IMAX 3D was great.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Yes,
Unbelievable.
very much
Yeah.
so. I'm glad you had us do that.
Oh, so you know IMAX 3D?
Yeah.
I still do not like. I do not like IMAX 3D. I have a big problem with if I breathe to the right,
it does.
it's all effed up.
That's why you were blue.
And
for half
that's
the movie.
particular to the IMAX 3D experience.
Interesting.
But the 3D experience is spectacular. There are moments in this movie that, just because it is in 3D, it takes your breath away. More so than, but I have to say, best flying sequences.
Oh, amazing.
Since Avatar.
Better than Avatar,
Yeah.
better than Neverending Story. It's that same feeling of Atreyu getting on the Luck Dragon for the first time,
Yeah.
but cremates Neverending Story
Yeah.
and Avatar and Reign of Fire or Superman. I mean, literally, flying, the sensation of flight in this movie is captured so brilliantly.
Yeah.
And I agree with you guys. The story, a lot of people are comparing it to Avatar, and it is similar, but it's much more like E.T. or Iron
of
Giant.
course, yeah.
Except cooler than E.T., it's dragons.
Yeah.
Not a weird-looking
So
alien.
great.
Yeah, right.
And it's
Everybody
pretty
likes
cool.
dragons.
The animation, there's so much communicated without words in this movie,
Yeah.
so beautifully, and you always know what that dragon is thinking, and that's all animation. It's so wonderful. I could just gush on and on about that. I love the music.
Yeah.
The music is great. John Powell's score. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a must-go see.
It's a must-go see. What may be a must-go see, especially for our fans, is Scott Pilgrim. The trailer just debuted this week. We've talked about the comic. We gushed over the comic, or some of us gushed over the comic book. These guys gushed over the comic book. This guy, not so much. We talked about the news coming out. Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz,
yeah.
the TV show Spaced. Coming at us with Michael Cera, trailer's playing now. Michael Cera. We've talked about the cast.
people.
Yeah, we've talked about the cast before on the show.
Your indie faves.
Yeah,
if you have an indie fave, probably
You're
in the
in
movie.
there, yeah.
right. What do you, Alex? You did not like the comic.
Correct.
What did you think of the trailer for the movie?
I wish I felt the same way about the comic as I did the trailer of this movie. It's perfect. It's great. I'm super excited.
It's two perfects in one show from Alex Albrecht.
Yeah, it's really what I think the Wachowski brothers had wished they could have done with Speed Racer.
Oh, you're hurting me. You're injuring me.
No.
I love that movie.
You loved Speed Racer.
Yes, I think it's highly
We reviewed it
underrated.
on the show.
I know, but I guess I blocked it.
Well,
that was that.
I love
that
Speed
way.
Racer as well, but I hear what you're saying.
I gotta watch
We were
that
both on the
episode.
same-
I also
It was
hear
hysterical.
him.
I gotta watch that episode.
No, I mean, like, I hear it.
But honestly, it's that way of being in a real world environment that's hyper stylized, but that sort of makes sense in its grandiose nature, which is what I think the comic was supposed to bring to me, and I did not get out of the
Well,
comic.
more to the point, it's really a live-action anime, a live-action comic book, and a live-action video game cutscene realized in a way that I think you're right. Like even maybe better than Speed Racer tried to, at least from the trailer. Jeff,
Yeah.
Well, you already know. I twittered out what I thought. I suspect this is going to be one of my favorite things when it comes out, and I'm so encouraged by the. I try to avoid trailers, but I couldn't resist this one because I know the story already, and it just looks like it's going to be hitting on all cylinders. I think Edgar Wright completely gets what was cool about the comic, and I think his visual sense is going to translate beautifully into the. I mean, you have to agree with me, right? You're
Oh
stoked.
yeah. No, unbelievable. I think that a lot of people watching the show and of our generation are going to feel like this movie was made just for. We're all going to feel like, oh, this is just for, and they're going to have friends that won't get it, and they're like, no, you don't understand. That's like Street Fighter. That's like that. It's all references to the things that we grew up with, and it's a really fun story as well. So it's looking great,
It's a
and it
premise
looks great, like beautifully shot.
It really is truly a premise you could see as a dark anime. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing it into having like the sort of Michael Cera kid, and I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I hope it's got broader appeal though. I am concerned about that.
You should be.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
Niche? I don't know. I think it could be big.
I want to say too, the fighting doesn't look goofy.
No.
The fighting
No, it
looks
looks badass.
And that was
Again,
a fear up front.
I think it was like, it looked like what I thought was supposed to be done in Street
Well, in a
Fighter.
way, you could say that
Probably a Street
basically Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are already. They've already crossed over from that. I mean, they come from that sensibility. They come from that. I mean, those are like.
Spaced,
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen Space. I really want to, but I think
referencing those things.
Yes, and making them cool and broad audience appeal.
And treating them like we're saying these fight scenes aren't goofy. Neither were the zombie moments, the horror moments,
exactly.
And yet the lead characters are definitely nerds, and it's
Yeah.
it's that
Cool.
awesome.
excitement.
Your pilot today is going to be Lieutenant C.J. Simonson. Has over 1,500 flight hours in a Hornet. So
Good, that was my next question.
There's going to be yellow and black handles throughout the cockpit.
Okay.
All these are going to be hands-off, only because you could cause the plane not to be able to land.
So yellow, black, bad.
Yellow and black, bad. Negative G's, just like riding a roller coaster. You get up to the top, you feel weightless, your stomach starts to come up.
Right.
The only way to combat that is just slow, steady breaths. A positive G's, on the other hand, a little different.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of people who've experienced the Blue Angels positive G's.
The positive G's, of course, is gravity on your body.
Right.
Say 200 pounds. At 7 G's, I'd weigh 1,400 pounds. So you're gonna take a 3-quarter deep breath, flex your abs.
Okay.
You're gonna say the word hick. And
Hick.
feel underneath your diaphragm right here, and you say the word hick.
Hick.
You can feel it tense up.
Yeah.
That's gonna be that last wall to keep that blood in your upper body there. He's gonna say, squeeze those legs, take a deep breath, ready, hit it. Yeah. During the flight, we're gonna have your visor up so that 7 can see your eyes. Start to glaze over. So you don't pass out.
I love it.
Do have airsick bags in the airplane, so
Gotcha.
nothing to worry about.
I
there.
like that. So this is important. These are the barf bags.
Airsick bags there. Like you said, this flight's for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you've done for the Navy.
Dude,
Marine Corps,
no way,
especially for
man.
the Blue Angels, and have a good time.
Perfect, dude. Thanks so much.
All right, no problem.
See you on the ground.
All right.
The first maneuver we will do is a high-performance climb. Got it. And what you can expect from me is we'll pull the aircraft out of the runway. We'll accelerate our engines to 85% power. I'll carefully check my engine instruments, and I'm going to ask you if you're ready to go. Go ahead and say yes if you are. If not, that's only the last chance to go back and shut down. Amazing. ready to roll? Yes, I am. All right, let's do this. All right, there's 24,000 pounds of thrust. There's 20 knots. There's 30. And here comes full afterburner. There's 60. There's 80. 100. 120. 140. 160. 180. 200. 220. 240. You ready to go flying, Alex? Yes, I am. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Ready, hit it.
Yeah. I'm allowed to curse on a plane, right?
It's your tape. You can say whatever you want.
Oh, man. That was epic. Jesus, we're literally pointing straight up in the air.
Yep.
I don't even know how to tell anybody exactly what we're doing.
Let's go to squeeze those legs. Don't take a deep breath. Ready, hit it. Nice. And one more time. Squeeze those legs. Take a deep breath. Ready, hit it. And then we're going to do a little victory roll to see where the bomb went. Yeah, that's we're going to the left. We'll do one more.
We went and did some crazy stuff. We got to go supersonic.
Yep, we went supersonic. First thing we did was a high-performance climb, so we
Yeah.
pulled the nose of the aircraft virtually straight up. We pulled 6.3 G from that maneuver.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then we had a nice little transit time to our supersonic area, where we then did the diamond roll simulation.
I totally forgot about the diamond roll thing. Being upside down in this plane is the weirdest thing because you're literally hanging.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's what it is. You're like hanging up by your shoulders, looking straight.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
So we did a diamond roll.
Yeah. Then from there we did the slow speed demonstration where we were put the jet basically on its tail.
Yeah.
You saw how crazy that feels with the nose part straight up, and we're going
It'd be crawling.
20 miles per hour.
Yeah.
From there we hacked the clock. We could go into full afterburn, and we see how long it takes to go from 120 to 700 miles per hour.
That was fun.
And it's somewhere around 35 seconds. We'll hit
Yeah.
Mach 1.
Yeah.
From there we did a loop.
Oh God, right.
Yep. And then we did an Immelman, which is half of a loop, and then we roll the aircraft in the upright position.
Yeah, which was super, super cool because you're like, you come up upside down and then you just go, you know what, let's not do the loop. Whoop, and then you're just flying along.
Yep.
Just really weird. All this stuff screws with your senses so much.
Yeah, it does.
Because you don't know, you're not
controlling the jet, so it feels weird to you.
I know. So we did we did a simulated low approach, right, to the target, which is
cool. We did a low bomb simulation where we used terrain masking, so we hid behind the mountain, simulate there's a surface-to-air radar out there looking at us.
Yeah.
Then we did a ridgeline crossing over the peak of that mountain, and then came in and did a 30-30 pop. So we pulled 30 degrees off our heading, 30 degrees nose up, climbed about 33,000 feet, and then we did a 15-degree dive angle, simulating a low altitude.
All this stuff you just have to look at what we actually did because that's what he told me in the plane, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I know what we did, and then we did a bunch of other stuff that I didn't seem like that's what we did, but that's exactly what we did.
And then from there we did the little river run, the little canyon run.
Yeah, that was fun.
We were pulling about 7.3 Gs through the river.
That was the only part at which it started going dark.
Yeah.
Just for a second, because I let up. I was like, oh, this is easy, I got it. And then I got back.
And then from there, we did some aileron rolls. Since you're a pilot, I let you grab controls, and he did an aileron roll. You did a great job.
I did it right? I mean, let's not say Navy pilot, but I did okay.
Right.
And that 360 thing that we did, what is that?
MRT, the mid-radius turn.
Jeez.
So there we did 7 Gs for 360 degrees of turn.
That was a lot of, because some of these things, like when we were doing the bombing thing, you almost only have the chance to do the one Hick because it's such a quick turn, and then you're out of it. But with the 360, that is like work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I still can't believe that you do that and fly the plane.
Yep.
That's crazy.
You know, the crazy thing about it is that, like I told you in the plane, every Navy and Marine Corps pilot can do what we do.
Yeah.
From day one, our training gets us ready for something like this.
Yeah.
The guys out in the fleet who are doing the actual bombing, doing the good work, they do this every single day. So
it's crazy.
My hope is that I'm representing them well because I'm gonna go back and I'll be flying the Grey Jets in a couple years, 3 years from now. I'm an average Navy pilot at best, and
Well, all right, I don't know about that, but let's just say you did great, and thank you so much for taking me up. I really appreciate it.
It's my honor and privilege. I hope
Thank
you
you.
had a great time.
Totally. Now I need a sandwich.
reload.
And the hits just keep on coming. We talked last week about how this year already is jam-packed with top-tier titles.
Crazy.
From the beginning of the year, which never happens with video games, but this year it has, and we got another one this week. Just Cause 2 has hit, and it is a huge open world sandbox type of game in the Grand Theft Auto vein, but it amps up the crazy because you not only get to explore this incredibly large, I don't even want to call it an island, it's almost a continent's worth of space that has mountains and deserts and tropical areas and anything you want to find.
And cities.
Cities, skyscrapers, right? There's boats and jets and
helicopter.
Every kind of vehicle. And the story is basically you are creating a bunch of chaos by blowing stuff up, for lack of more description.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. And you're blowing stuff up, creating chaos, and trying to create unrest to usurp the leaders of this
Island continent.
island continent. Yeah.
Let's say Australia.
Okay.
Ish.
What did you think of the game?
I really wanted to love this game. And there was a lot of stuff that I did actually love about this game. I love the mechanic, the sort of like using your parachute and the hook and kind of the way to run
Yeah, you
around
got
the
a
world.
grappling hook that, unlike a lot of games, literally will hook onto any surface in the game.
Very good. I mean, Bionic Commando was a good example where it was sort of like, well, if it's glowing, you can hook on it. You know, it's like, we can't go swinging over there.
And it goes a really long distance, longer than most games.
Yes, and you can grab stuff, like people, and throw them to you, which I was constantly grabbing people off of stuff and throwing them like, all right.
And connect things.
And connect things.
Connect a person to an explodey thing and then send them
and
going.
then let it happen.
Yeah.
So there was so much joy in that aspect of the game. The shooting at cars that goes by, hitting your parasailing and like flying behind it and shooting people, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then the game itself was just sort of like, kind of run-of-the-mill, like, you know, the story was just sort of like, you know, I kind of wanted to just be allowed to jump around. I almost didn't want to care about doing the gameplay stuff. It was just like, I want to just blow stuff
It kind
up.
of forces you to do that because it won't give you the next mission until you fart around a little bit.
Yeah, which I think is good. And I think that they put that in there because they went, all right, we kind of understand the missions are a little bit like, oh, follow the, you know, thing and do this. And it's like, okay. But, so they were like, but we have this great big sandbox, so let's just let them fart around a bit. So I really wanted to love this game. I didn't end up loving the game, but I think it's a game worth playing, if that makes any sense, because I think the mechanic was really intriguing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Worth $60?
I don't think so, but I think, you know, give it a couple months and get it for $25. Seriously, I mean.
Dan, I know that gearing up for this game coming out, you were very excited. Played a lot of the demo, and it's got swingy mechanic, which is like
amazing swingy
Dan
mechanic.
certified.
It's not just the swingy mechanic.
It's the mechanic.
It's the kind of games I love. If you guys haven't caught on yet,
we're slow.
From Crackdown to Prototype to Sly Cooper, and are these games where just the way
third one kind of threw me off a little bit.
He's coming
these
back.
games were just the way,
Cell-shaded.
just the way. No, even Prince of Persia.
No,
just the way you navigate.
Right. Traversal.
The sensation it gives you is so phenomenal. Even Bionic Commando,
tingly.
is so amazing that anything I'm doing in this game is incredible.
Right.
Such is what happened with Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
Are you in love with it?
It's a flawed game for sure in terms of what you alluded to, the story, and the lead character is bizarre.
Yeah.
I do not get it. I applaud them for it not just being generic American dude with shaved head, Marine guy.
He is generic guy
like
with
Hispanic dude,
odd accent.
Yeah, but not even that. Yeah, exactly.
It's like
weird.
he looks like the guy who's in every other video game, but he's then when he opens his mouth, he's like,
very
"Hey,
weird.
go on, Dan, what you talking about?" It's like,
It's really weird.
It is very odd.
So despite all that stuff, the sensation of that grappling hook and that parachute and going anywhere at any time, doing anything, and all of those things that you're allowed to do, which are vast, are amazing. I love. And then I get to do it I'm not, as I've been complaining week after week I hate this gray tone. I'm in the same kind of world, stage after stage, even in AAA titles like God of War 3. Like in this game, I am in the snowy Himalayas, and it looks awesome, and it feels great being in that kind of terrain. And then I'm in the desert, and then I'm in the city, and that's exactly what I love. And there's so many ways to do things.
Yeah.
I can just do the parachute thing the whole way, grappling on and swinging, and it's feeling great. I can go in a car or a motorcycle,
Swinging
and
and
I can
feeling great.
jump off that, and
Just
then
fucking
instantly in a
grappling,
parachute.
swinging.
And it's not like it's on a rail where like I have to do like kind of like the first Just Cause was, where like in order to do a thing, it's like it just sort of gets you onto that system, and then now you're doing that one thing, and then it gets you to this system, and now you're doing that one thing. It's like I can do anything at any time. Love, love, love.
I think this
Interesting.
is a new shorthand for a Dan game.
Yeah. Can you do this in the
do
game?
this?
Does it have this mechanic?
Because it's the way it
The
feels.
shoulders, low
It's all
elbow.
about that motion in my ocean.
Yeah, the first thing you have to say about this game, it's a huge accomplishment that they delivered this vast, interesting sandbox for you to play in. It is enormous, to the point where it's almost sick.
Yeah.
It's almost like I
like
need
you
to
gotta catch
get
a bus.
that far.
Yeah.
Oh, I better get a jet, not a plane, not a helicopter, because those are too friggin' slow.
Yeah.
I need to get a jet to get across the entire continent.
I know how fast those go.
And the first, yeah, you saw. The first time you go up in a plane, and it's seamless.
And you can keep going
you
up,
Can keep
up.
Did you get to the Mile High club?
No,
Mile High?
probably not. Yeah.
Oh well, you would know. It's
Yeah.
a giant club that's floating in the sky.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then you can like base
down.
jump off of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And
all of that is a huge accomplishment. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they didn't add the fun.
Yeah.
I didn't
they
have,
left it out.
I got very frustrated with this game very frequently. I mean, and I know this is one of those things where you're going to be like, Jeff, you just weren't playing it right. But literally, I think the health system is broken.
it's not,
like
not that you don't play it right, so you don't play it well.
I'm not doing this at
Yeah,
all.
you gotta get into it. Are you swinging your
I
hands?
give you some lessons.
I think the health system is broken. 90% of the time, I would just be running around looking for a health station just so I could be near it, so I could do what I need to do.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this whole concept of heat levels or star levels that Grand Theft Auto introduced. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I think it's dumb. I mean, I get the idea behind it, but it's not fun for me to because there's no easy way to drop your heat level in this game. At least I never found it, you know. And
Yeah, kill everybody is sort of the only way.
well, and
to
they
drop
just
the heat.
keep coming,
Yeah.
and they just keep coming, and then your heat level goes up and up and up, and you have to just wait. You have to drive in the middle of nowhere and wait for your heat level to go down, or else if you drive through a town, everyone knows it's you instantly and goes after you, which is not realistic.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It just wasn't. I was dying a lot, and then I would like get all the way across the continent to where I needed to be, and then get killed, and then it would respawn me way back, and it's like there was so much frustration, and then it has so many of the things that I hate about video games: timed missions.
I never had a time mission. I probably didn't.
Oh, there's so many of them. The actual agency missions, the actual big story missions
I saw that tweet
great.
about the time missions.
Oh, I
was
wanted
like,
to. I almost hurt myself
Yeah,
getting so angry.
Yeah.
But the actual agency story missions are really well put together and interesting. But there's like so many escort missions and guys who are behaving in ways that are not. If I'm escorting you, do not run out in the middle of the people and get shot.
Yeah.
Just don't do that.
Yeah.
So, I didn't like this game, and I think it's a huge disappointment because there's so much potential and so much cool that they put into it that I just can't have fun.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
too
let's
bad.
talk about the big announcement of the week, which is kind of oddly came out in just a little kind of weird press release. It was maybe trying to stem a leak or something. But Nintendo, at the same time that they are releasing the DS XL, which is the enormous DS, they said we're coming out with another DS, the 3DS, which is not actually the official title, but seems like a pretty good one. It's a new handheld system that's going to be backward compatible with the current DS and DSi, but it's also going to include some sort of 3D visualization that will not require glasses.
Well, have you guys seen that YouTube video?
And not
with-
require glasses is the crazy
It
thing.
doesn't require glasses. You can
The
see
one that's on your iPhone?
No. I mean, literally, you can. There's a YouTube video. Just looking at the YouTube video, you can see the guy's holding it, almost like kind of like a hologram, but not. Where it's 3D.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the thing, and it's freaking.
So does that
3D.
mean you think this is a cool idea?
Kinda, yeah. I mean,
Explain to me.
what's wrong
dude,
with it?
Well, no,
Chess
explain to
from
me
Star
how this
Wars.
is good. Explain to me what kinds of games now you're like, wow.
Any game, because like I said,
Really?
it doesn't require glasses, so it's a 3D game, but it's actually 3D. and it's going in. It's not popping out at me.
Now let's be clear. We actually haven't seen what this is going to look like.
I saw this YouTube video. This is the thing
of something. But that's
there
not
was
this.
There's a video of that, and there's a video of you guys seen the Wii where you put the thing on your head.
Right.
It's kind of like that, the head tracking, which
yeah.
also creates this 3D illusion thing.
Well, I think the way that everybody's kind of guessing that they're going to do it, because Nintendo hasn't released any details, is that it's going to have accelerometers. So when you move it, it's going to mess with the graphics so that you can see. That's the theory, but we'll see more at E3, obviously.
I'll tell you right now, I don't need no 3D game. I've tried you and I both. We've
You're
tried
sitting
some
on
of
your
those monitors.
porch. You've seen it all.
But it's not.
this.
I don't think. At least the thing that I saw didn't give me that sensation at all. Like, it wasn't glasses. It wasn't dimmer and harder to see, and it wasn't like just things popping out at me and just an enhanced experience. It was like
I want you to tell me if I grant you the fact that it looks amazing and it's things popping out of my little handheld thing.
Right.
What does that do for gaming? Because it's not like I'm going to be immersed in that world on this little 4-inch screen.
That's like, for me, that's like, what does Mario 64 do graphically, not gameplay-wise, but graphically, what does that do different than like the games that were used Z-axis but weren't like 3D, you know, like graphically.
But so what you're trying to tell me is that in the same way that 3D Mario changed the way the game was played, you think
No. I don't mean gameplay, I just mean aesthetically.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I just think that when you're exploring in the 3D space, it feels like you're really looking into that. You're really looking in through a window as opposed to it just looking like.
Flat 3D.
So you're saying the same exact games we've been playing,
Yeah.
it just looks a little cooler.
Yeah,
That could
really
be,
what
that
it is.
could be
It
awesome.
looks a little cooler as my.
That could be awesome. And
I
it's
don't
hard to
think
bet
that's
against
enough for me,
Nintendo.
Well,
because the original DS came out and I was like, touch screen, 2 screens.
Yeah, that's
stylus.
true.
Also,
And now it's like,
if the 3DS, if this is sort of like that Wii head tracking thing, where you're saying where like it's where you're looking, it's kind of
it's
cool.
not where you're looking, it's kind of how you're tilting. But
Tilting, but like if it's sort of like a first-person-y game, like there are those tap Metroid whatever on it, and if you like look around the corner or whatever, you just sort of look with your head and you see around the corner. That's kind of cool.
yeah, it might track you with the camera.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, they
Well,
do
we're
it
gonna
with the
see
Wii.
more
Hey man, it's
E3.
going to be a lot of wizards.
yeah, so you're excited.
I'm definitely excited.
You're meh.
I'm meh.
I'm.
Interesting. All right. All right, well, before we say goodbye, we do want to thank our sponsors, such lovely sponsors as Gamefly.com, the #1 online video game rental service, period, with over 7,000 games across all handhelds and consoles. Basically, you sign up for a monthly service, $15.95 a month, and you can get your video games sent to you in the mail for free. That sounds amazing.
There's no postage. You don't have to pay postage.
No postage
You
to
send
and
it,
from.
They send it to you and you send it back.
Amazing. And then you set up your list, and as soon as you're done with the game, you send it back. Next one on your list gets sent to you. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Also, if you really like the game, you can just go to the website and click keep it. And for a lower price, you'll be able to purchase the game. They'll send you the manuals and the cases and all that stuff for free. If you want to check it out, head over to gamefly.com/TTRS and get a 2-week, no-risk free trial.
Hopefully you saw last week where we learned sword fighting. Alex and I have healed rather nicely from that. And
My nose still hurts.
the reason we did that is because Red Steel 2 is now available on the Wii. So we had to learn, not only does that game have shooting action,
Heck yeah.
gun-toting action,
It's got super fly shooting action.
it also has sword-toting action. And you can fight like 6 enemies at once, and you can like deflect their bullets with your shield.
And it's the first game that's coming out that's for
Designed
the Wii Motion Plus.
exclusively for the Wii and Wii Motion Plus. It's not a port.
Yep.
It's designed to use the Wii Motion Plus, so that's like 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Super precise. I haven't gotten my hands on it
Yeah, I
yet, but it
haven't
looks
yet
really
either.
awesome. It's that like Western kind of, but with Asian
Accents.
influences. It looks like a really cool hardcore title for the Wii.
Is it out now?
It is out now.
Perfect.
You should be checking it out. I can't wait to check it out. So.
Amazing.
And GoDaddy.com. Got some interesting things happening over at GoDaddy.com.
Like what?
Why don't you enumerate some of them?
You can customize your own virtual dedicated server.
That sounds fun.
VDS?
You can choose from. That's how I remembered it, Jeff. A little mnemonic for you.
Yeah.
You can choose
It's the only kind of VD you want to
from
catch.
3. the only VD you want to ask.
Now you tell me.
You can choose
Why
from
is this on a
3
dedicated server?
plan options, or choose a Windows or Linux server and customize all the plan options you need.
Perfect.
If you head over to revision3.com/GoDaddy, they have a whole list of promo codes to use. I recommend TRS10. You get a .com domain for $7.49.
Man, that is actually really cheap.
Before we go any further, we neglected to mention that our user submitted background. Awesome, it's fiery. We know dragons make fire, so we did fiery background. And Steven sent this in.
Thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Steven. But we also got.
This is the thing. This is what breaks our hearts when we get a good background for a movie that we've just finished reviewing.
Yeah, you know, we've never really mentioned this before, but we love getting these user-submitted backgrounds, and we love them when they tie into what we're talking about that week. But you do need to send those in by Friday, because if we don't get it by Friday, we won't be able to put it in the episode. We got this one for the Runaways, because we did the Runaways last week, and it's so hilarious. Look at like 70s us looking at the
I love it.
It's so funny.
Dan's my favorite in this.
Ty sent that in. Thank you, Ty. Hopefully, you know.
Send in more.
We love seeing that stuff, so if you can get in a little early, we can throw it into the show.
So in lieu of an email, Daniel has a question for us.
No, why a funny story on the set.
I'd like to hear a funny story.
On the set.
A buddy of mine shot a commercial 2 days ago, and he came back from that with this hilarious tale. They were shooting a prop, like an old 70s reel-to-reel looking thing, and the back started sparking and was going crazy. So the prop guy gets behind there and he's trying to figure it out. He has no idea what's up with this thing. So the camera assistant walks by and he goes, "Oh, it must be the flux capacitor." Walks away, jokes, you know. And the prop guy goes, "Yeah, I think, you must be right." Gets on the phone with the prop house and says, "I don't know, it just started shorting and it was spinning out. I think it's the flux capacitor. I'm thinking it might be." And they had to leave the room. Everyone's in on it, but this dude.
Oh my
He calls up a second prop house because they didn't know what was going on, and now he's certain. He's like, "No, it's definitely the flux capacitor for sure." Obviously, it wasn't getting enough gigawatts.
Was it the flux capacitor? And did you travel through time?
I read a really hilarious tweet, and I wish I could remember who it was. I think it was somebody that we all follow that said that they're doing a shot-for-shot remake of Back to the Future just so that he can pronounce it gigawatts instead of gigawatts.
Amazing.
Awesome. I'm not following that person.
I'm not either, but I should now because that's.
Anyway, I don't know if you guys have any hilarious.
You know, the only thing
I
I don't know if I'd say hilarious, but I did. It kind of reminded me of I was shooting a Domino's commercial that I was in, and the whole point was people were supposed to the SWAT team were supposed to come in. Because I was like jokingly said, "What are you going to call the flavor police?" And so the flavor police come storming into the room. And one of the things that had to happen was we were sitting there, and they had to throw in comes in the smoke grenade, right? So we're all sort of sitting there, and like the smoke grenade is supposed to come in and then poof, start smoking in the room. So we're all sitting there, and it's the first take. We're like, okay, and the prop guy's like, "I got it. It's all good. It should
flux
be
capacitor's intact.
Flux capacitor's in here. Should be enough smoke, but not too much." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah. So we're sitting there, and we're like, "Oh, what's the flavor please?" And this little thing, ting, 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 and we're all kind of staring at it, and it just goes. And like a little, like the lamest amount of smoke comes out, and he's like, cut! And he was like, "I thought it was gonna be more smoke." And he was like, "No," and he was like, "I thought I packed it right, blah, 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 blah." So we're like, okay, God. So we're sitting there in the second take, and the guy goes, "All right, here we go, ready, action." And I was like, "Oh, flavor, blah, blah, blah." And this thing, ting, 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 sits there. All of a sudden, bagoom! It was like over back into the couch, like the whole fucking room fills up in smoke, and we're like, people are coming in with blankets and putting it over. And I think the guy packed it right the first time, but then it just sort of was a dud. And so he overcompensated, like, well, maybe it wasn't. So he double filled it. It was like some smoke. We had to clear out. They opened all the windows. It was hysterical. It was super fun.
Funny.
Wow.
It was good times. And that's why I don't do commercials anymore.
Well, I did a commercial.
That's why I don't smoke.
I did a commercial for a department store kind of thing, like a discount clothing thing, and I had to dance in it. And the director was such a douchebag. I need to tell. No, it was Dan. Dan did the
There's
commercial.
a funny story about that because we didn't tell anyone. We couldn't because he was cast, and I didn't want anyone to know that.
Yeah, I got a job actually.
Despite me.
Despite Dan, he didn't want to cast me in his commercial.
Yeah.
And everybody thought
the agency loved you, so and I didn't want to say that you had just got called in
completely
unbeknownst to me,
randomly.
absolutely random, totally random. So, but at lunch that day, we sat next to each other and amongst the other actors, and we were like, hey, I was like, hey, do you want to try some of my? It's really good. And he, oh, try some of mine. Like we're buds, so we do that. But everyone was sort of looking at us.
We had just met that day, and I was working for you.
Yeah, we're like really
Really into each other.
Yeah. We did it all. We're like laughing at each other. Yeah, it was really funny.
Oh my God.
Good
So-
times. Anyway,
Now I want to use the rest of my time, if I have any left, to
Yes.
self-promote a little bit. Okay, got some things I want to tell you about.
yes, tonight is your night.
Tonight, I mean, obviously when you see this, it'll already have happened, but
Yeah.
opening night for a play. If you're in Los Angeles, I would love for you to come out and see The Psychic. It's playing at the Falcon Theater in Burbank, and it's a comedy starring me and a whole bunch of really amazing actors. The cast is phenomenal, and I mean, the voice of Invader Zim. We got these comedic geniuses in this show. It's really
exciting.
funny. It's written by the guy who created Saved by the Bell.
Amazing.
As well as a lot of other amazing stuff. So yeah, check it out. You can go to jeffcanada.com to find out more details, or you can look at falcontheater.com. Also, the first episode of Weekend Confirmed came out last week.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. It's a new audio video game podcast I'm doing with Garnet Lee and the guys at Shack News.
Audio video
so check
game
that out.
podcast,
And
that's funny.
if you're in Canada and you watch television, you can check out me and the amazing Miri, who happens to be here today hanging out with us. Doing reviews of
Sounds like a
Blu-ray.
magician.
I know. The amazing Mary.
She does. She saws me in half every episode, verbally.
Amazing.
Yeah. So check out that or
was good
reviewsontherun.com.
I
Yeah,
like
thank
that.
you.
That was
I'm gonna keep pumping it.
And
until
also,
people show up.
please do keep sending in your backgrounds. Obviously, fans at totallyradshow.com, as well as email questions. Dan had an itch to say his little story.
Sorry, guys.
So we had to forego an email.
We
so
forewent.
Feel free to spam Dan.
Yeah. Or buy shirts.
Or buy shirts. That's probably a better option to make Dan mad. Jinx.com/TRS. Well, that is it for this week's edition of the Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Until next time, stay rad, San Diego.
Or the rest of the country.
This week on the Totally Rad Show, we are talking about the movie How to Train Your Dragon and the trailer.
Touch the fingers.
All right.
We should give you a prop stick or something.
We could have a podium for this part.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Take a second. Get your energy.
Hang on.
You need a Cliff Bar? Slap
same
chop.
time.
Bam, bam, bam. Slappy chop. Bang, bang, ba, dang, bang, bang. All right, here we go. Ready?
Join the next one.
Here we go. Okay. All right, before we say goodbye, we do want to thank our sponsors, such lovely sponsors as GoDaddy.com, which Dan will talk to you about in a second, and Gamefly. Start again.
I was like, wait, what?
Awesome.
How great would that be? It was like, well, your own virtual dedicated server.
And Gamefly? And I'm like,
Good luck. All right, here we go.